right, all right. Hey, guys. Welcome back, everybody. All right, let me go ahead and make sure I've got some things settled here. Okay, perfect. So, Scorpios, I want to go ahead and get a jump on some Valentine's Day messages, right? That's coming up pretty soon. Let me begin with what is the universe want to convey to Scorpio first prior to this Valentine's Day? I'll tell you, this card has been coming out like crazy. The Valentine's messages, we have got a Six of Cups, which is soulmate energy. So we may certainly have some soulmate vibe coming in. We have an Ace of Wands. There's there is a message that says, as far as Scorpio goes, the message from the universe is, remember, Scorpio, you get to pick. King of Cups, you are in the role of, selecting wisely who you choose to cherish or spend your passionate energy with. It has to be a mutual, not saying that Scorpio would feel like, well, they like me, so I guess I got to kiss them. But if there was, any of that obligatory feeling, the universe is like, oh, hell no. Scorpio, you only have to be authentic in where your passion really is. And maybe this is a gentle message, because it could be that Scorpio is going to be asked out by two different people, and they're going to have to tell somebody, I don't feel that way about you. Or they want to go ahead and go out with somebody only to still discover, I'm not sure that I have the passion for you. I'm sorry, it's not there. This says Scorpio is the one who gets to choose where their passion lies. And it's not Scorpio's fault if they're not feeling the feels for somebody, if they're feeling it for somebody else instead. The heart wants what the heart wants. And I think this is just a very supportive message that says Scorpio shouldn't have to feel obligated or uncomfortable, or, like they're a monster if they can't help it. They want this other person. And I really do think that there could be a choice between two coming up. Alicia on her path. Hi, sweetheart. It's so good to see you. I'm sorry I wasn't able to get Scorpio done last night like I was trying. I was just running out of air after all of our members' parties that we had yesterday. But yeah, so let's get to this Scorpio story. We have a Three of Pentacles upright. We have the Death card. Man, Scorpio's coming in loud and clear in this. And we have the Sun. You know how I said Scorpio may very well have two people? I'm thinking one is more like a friend that Scorpio is going to have to, acknowledge and realize, like, if I don't feel those feels for that person, as much as they're nice and they're kind and they have so much to offer, I'm going to have to go ahead and, kind of maybe break their dreams a little bit if they were really hoping to have something with me, but I'm going to have to be clear. I think Scorpio has somebody on their mind and on their heart. And I think there's two really great people. But I think only one that Scorpio is going to realize that they really have like the fire for. And they're going to have to tell person number two that truth. Alicia, you are so generous. Oh my God. Thank you, sweetheart. Alicia has just given yet another membership. That Stormtrooper, I love your name. Welcome. You are a member, courtesy of Alicia on her path. James Timmons. Hi, Angel. You are so sweet. I feel the same way about you, babe. Thank you so much, James Timmons. And Brian, so great to see you, love. How are you? You guys are so awesome. Thank you for being here. Thank you for all the kindness. You guys are unbelievable. We have a Four of Wands. This really does boil down to, it kind of is starting to look a little bit serious. Like somewhere around Valentine's Day, Scorpio could be getting some clarity about, look, I need to spend my time, potentially building or investing my time into people and situations that really are what I'm looking for. I think that this is less about like, ooh, eeny, meeny, miny, mo, who is Scorpio going to pick, and more about Scorpio simplifying their life by asking themselves that really big internal question. Sorry, I'm hearing that song, Who Do You Love? Who Do You Love? But I'm going to say that it's more like Scorpio is taking that leadership role and saying, I have to be honest with myself about who I care about. Now, there is one other storyline I could put into all of this, which could very well be that there is, maybe this isn't Scorpio. I mean, it's a water sign, but there could be a King of Cups, somebody that is all kinds of hot and bothered, and they're going to be a contender for Scorpio's heart. And Scorpio is, again, possibly going to have to acknowledge to themselves, even if this is somebody new, if this is who Scorpio is more turned on by, and this person is starting to make overtures towards Scorpio. And I mean, in that case, we could actually have Scorpio saying, I may have to end someone I was already dating, end that connection because somebody else, I can't help it. But if I'm more interested in another person, this is my life, this is my time, this is my heart. I have to give it where I really feel pulled toward. So this could be, I can see why this could be uncomfortable and something to handle with delicacy. But on the other hand, it is still going to require the same message, which is Scorpio has to be okay choosing for themselves, because not choosing what you authentically want is going to keep you stuck in the land of what ifs, and you're not really listening to your higher self. Look, the universe is not trying to tell Scorpio who they belong with, only to support Scorpio in saying, try to always honor the truth of what your heart wants, because otherwise you're going to be eating up somebody's time when that's not really the person you wanted. When you keep thinking about somebody else, you're going to stay stuck, feel like, and also it's really tough to be stuck and say, but I'm not allowed to feel the way I feel because I can't hurt somebody else's feelings. Unfortunately, and forgive me for sounding like such a jerk on this, but let me speak from a personal viewpoint, okay? I definitely know what it feels like to get rejected. I think every human adult, if you haven't been rejected ever in your life, you're missing out on kind of like a real character building experience. But I think most people have been rejected. We didn't get the job we wanted. We were in love with somebody who wasn't in love with us. We had a relationship with someone who decided that they didn't want to stay with us. Those experiences, although excruciating, and I fully acknowledge that, but having been through one of each of those, at least in my lifetime, I can say, you know what, you survive. And I personally would far prefer Scorpio to leave me because they're more interested in somebody else than eat up my good time all the while thinking about somebody else. Hell no. Don't do me no damn favors, as James Brown says. I don't need that. So I would just say, from my own perspective, trust me, somebody telling you, look, it's not you I'm not into, I'm so sorry. I personally would say, please tell me the truth. That shows me you respect me and my time so I can move on with my life. I don't want you staying with me when you want somebody else. I'd be pissed if I found out you wasted how many years when I could have found somebody else who loved me. Instead, you ate up my good time. Like, I would not be happy about that. There's a lot of great blues songs about that too. You're taking up another man's good space. So I'm just going to say, maybe now I don't sound like such a jerk after all, because this whole story is to encourage Scorpio to do what's authentic for themselves and not stay because they're worried about hurting somebody else's feelings. Invariably, we will hurt other people's feelings when they're in love with us and we don't feel the same, or we're more interested in somebody else. They'll have to deal with it because that's part of the adult experience in life. You don't always get what you want. You don't always get the trophy. It sucks, but it's also not the end of the world. We'll all move on. There's so many great people to love. Hell, maybe there's somebody better than Scorpio for this person. No offense to Scorpio. Look, I don't give advice, so please bear that in mind. But this whole story is like, there's a lot of tension in this, but then there's also this reality check again and again that we're seeing, which is Scorpio's got to do what they've got to do, and without guilting themselves so heavily about the fact that maybe they love somebody else or they want to try something with somebody else. If Scorpio's going to go into hermit mode and be like, yeah, but I should withdraw, say, it's not that it's that I just don't want to date anybody right now. If that also is not true, now Scorpio is being unfair to themselves. I'm going to withdraw for, some amount of time because I don't want to make it look like I just jumped from one relationship into a different one. But why should Scorpio have to sit, when they know what they want? Why are they in the timeout chair? I mean, granted, I think it's great to give ourselves time and space to shed old energy and, have a reset button. But I hope Scorpio's not going to punish themselves is what it looks like. I hope Scorpio's not going to punish themselves. 6 of Pentacles. This storyline, I know, is very specific, but we keep seeing, like, I'm struggling with the truth of what I want versus what I feel I'm allowed to want. And I don't know if Scorpio is going to be talking to a good friend. Hopefully a good friend is, straightforward enough and can, talk some truth about this. Like, hey, Scorpio, you got to do what you got to do. You're allowed. I mean, whose life is it anyway? It's yours. It's your time. It's your body. It's your kisses. Who do you want to grant access to your person to? You're allowed to rescind that invitation at any point in time. Nobody has the right to lay claim to you unless you want them to. You are a very sovereign person. I don't know that I think that this is Scorpio saying, well, I'm in love with two people at the same time. I keep thinking this is Scorpio being very sensitive to, I don't want to hurt a great person, but at the expense of hurting Scorpio's own self by cheating their own self out of a different love story. That doesn't seem like a very good idea either. I know this is like between a rock and a hard place, but I actually think there's a pretty clear answer on this, which is in the adult world, we all have to be adults. Tough as it is, but Scorpio doesn't have an obligation to never change their mind or to stay with someone or to date somebody. Like maybe this is going to be a situation where Scorpio gets asked out by two people and they've already said yes to one, but now somebody else that they actually would rather go out with asks them out and they're like, I want to cancel on the first one because the other person asked me out that I didn't expect. Now, this is such a tough story because, there's like, well, what is the appropriate thing to do? Again, all I can say is if I were the person where somebody was planning to go out with me, but then there was somebody else they would rather go out with, and then that became an option, I don't want you to, out of a feeling of obligation, say, but I asked you out first, so I have to do this with you. I don't want to be somebody's obligation. So I personally, if I were the person that Scorpio was trying to decide between, I would be like, oh, good God, no, go out with the person you most want to go out with. Like, I would encourage somebody to do that. Don't go out with me if you want somebody else. It's not an obligation. Trust me, I'll be fine without you, Scorpio. Like I'm only saying it from this perspective viewpoint because I think it's the best way to kind of like evaluate. Look, somebody still might be heartbroken over Scorpio, and they might even say, wow, I can't believe that, Scorpio. We were going to go out, but they dumped me to go out with somebody else. Maybe Scorpio's going to get, a bad rap. But the alternative is, why are you wasting somebody else's time when that's not where you want to be? I don't know. I think Scorpio's going to go ahead and say, I think I got to do what my heart says. I'm going to go ahead and take that leap. I'm going to do the thing that I really want instead of let myself feel so burdened and so stressed and do something that I don't actually want to do or that my heart isn't in just so I can avoid looking like the bad guy. I don't think Scorpio's trying to hurt anybody at all. I just think that the bottom line is their heart's not in this. Their heart is someplace else. And I think that is the most authentic answer. I'm sorry, my heart's not in this. My heart is somewhere else. There, that's it. That's, nobody can fault another person for that. Let me ask, if that is the position that Scorpio is being put into, how might that be handled? Because I do think Scorpio is going to do the thing that they feel compelled to do. Six of Cups. Honestly, even here, we have 3 soulmates, right? Honestly, it's probably going to be like, well, of course you got to go do what you want to do. Scorpio, I'm glad you told me the truth. I could stay friends with anybody so long as you're truthful with me. What I don't like is my time wasted. And I feel like that is exactly the reaction or the response that I think this soulmate is going to have if Scorpio tells them, I'm sorry, I think you're a great friend. I don't have the spark. My heart's not in this. In fact, I'm interested elsewhere. It almost looks like somebody's going to be like, oh, I get it. Of course. Anyway, still be friends? Like this just feels so, all this stress was for nothing. I don't think this looks like somebody who's going to be devastated, and not to act like, oh, it doesn't matter, Scorpio, I can get another one of you any day. It's not that either. It's just a sincere, you know what? I respect the fact that you like me enough to be honest with me. That's how we can stay friends now. That's cool. But if you ever do get the hots for me, do let me know. That's kind of the vibe that we get here is I think this person's going to be understanding. They're not going to throw a tantrum. They're not going to be heartbroken. So it kind of feels like a lot of this was unnecessary stress on Scorpio's side, which brings us to the other part of the story. Who is Scorpio actually turned on by? What's the scoop on that one? Because we didn't see that yet. And I need the full scoop. I need some popcorn when I tell these stories. Okay, so we have an Ace of Cups. There is possibly like a lot of passion, desire, and love. 10 of Pentacles. Okay, so this is looking like, and we already saw something that could be quite serious because we had the Four of Wands earlier. We had this moment of clarity. We had, I think, Scorpio having a pretty good idea of what they want to pursue and with whom. But let me ask about that person because we haven't really seen their face. We only know that they exist. Who are you? The person that seems to be captivating Scorpio, that could be a Gemini. I'll do a Gemini video tomorrow. Tonight I've got to do an Aries video to close us out, but tomorrow I will do Gemini, okay? We have Four of Cups, and it is sideways. Are you making a move in Scorpio's direction? 8 of Wands, they're about to. They may have been thinking about this for a while. This is somebody who will likely reach out to Scorpio because they have felt like it was a missed opportunity. With the Lovers card here, this could be that Scorpio already has, some biblical knowledge of them, we'll say, to be polite. Intimate knowledge. These two could have been lovers, and it was always like, I can't help it. I still miss you. I still miss what we had. It feels like they are the ones going to be reaching out to Scorpio. I'm wondering, does Scorpio simply have them in their mind? Is this like, I can't help it, I feel the feels for this person still? 9 of Cups, the Scorpio is definitely feeling connected and feeling happy to hear from this person. 6 of Swords. I don't know. I'm not sure if this is somebody who's just about to reach out to Scorpio, or they do, and then Scorpio's like, this is amazing to hear from you. And that's when Scorpio goes, and I got to be honest, I'm definitely going to have to dip out on somebody else that was maybe trying to start something with me, because I already know I really want this avenue. I have to explore this avenue with this possibly Gemini who's showing back up in my world. I don't know that I think it's, an ex with some terrible past, but why do they have a regret? What was that 4 of Cups sideways? Ace of Pentacles, Ace of Wands. It's just the regret that it's like things started out really good and they would like to try to start from the beginning all over again. Whomever this person is, they have never not wanted another opportunity. Now, in this story, Scorpio came out as a masculine. That was our first card out that would have described Scorpio. So Scorpio could be in the masculine energy. They could be in the feminine energy, because this soulmate has come across as a feminine again and again. The only thing is, of course, I don't read for genders. So this could be Scorpios in the position of, taking an actionable step. They could be in the position of the feminine energy, just meaning the gravitational pull of the moon. They're like drawing Scorpio to them. They could be a dude, Scorpio could be a woman, but their roles are, Scorpio's the sun and they are the moon right now. So just as a side note, this is somebody who's got a real pull toward Scorpio. They really want to do this all over again with Scorpio, and it's mutual. So I think Scorpio is going to go ahead and say, I got to know how this story goes with us. All right, you guys. So nice to see everybody. Oh, that's wonderful. Dolly, happy birthday. And what a great day. It's like Venus herself celebrates your birthday. I love that. That is so wonderful. Hi, sweet. Hi, Nikki O. Simone, wonderful to see you. Divine Plan, great to catch you. James Timmons, thank you again, love. AJ, awesome to see you. Gita Cahill, thanks again, Alicia, and welcome everybody. Thank you, Brian. All right, you guys, I'll see you in the Aries video next, and then we'll go over to Tarot Dog. Lots of love. Bye.